And good morning. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about bad habits, specifically artistic bad habits. So if you watched yesterday's video, I went for a hike up in the mountains and walked through the burned out area. I went with the cross up there, and I went down to the house, one of the houses that burned out, and shot some footage. And I came home last night and started editing the stuff, and I was seeing a lot of pans in my footage. When I first started filming back in, I guess it was November, with any kind of seriousness, and I was doing a lot of motion. It was just like very very few stable shots. I think it was because coming from a photographer, where it's all stills, and I was like, ooh, motion's so much fun. So I would constantly like do a lot of these crazy pans and camera movements and twists and stuff, which seemed cool at the time. Then you try to edit, and you're like, wow, I don't have like one establishing shot anywhere because everything is constant motion. And I find that a lot of times when I'm not doing any like regular filming, like on a constant basis, I sort of revert back to that which is constant motion. A lot of stuff yesterday I was doing was like a left to right pan almost every single shot. Thankfully, I was holding the camera steady at the beginning ends for a little bit, so I would get some clips, and a lot of the stable shots you guys saw yesterday were from the beginning or end of a long-ass pan. But it is kind of like a fallback position for me, and I'm trying to figure out how to get out of that habit. I haven't quite, I guess the thing is, like, I recognize it's a problem artistically, but I'm not quite sure how to stop doing it every time I shoot. I'm also not quite sure if it's just a habit, or if at the time I'm thinking it's good. I did note yesterday when I went out there, I didn't bring my little monopod with me, my little gorilla pod that I use, which is actually what I'm holding now. And I brought up my gimbal, my pilot fly, but I didn't put it on. It's kind of a pain in the ass to carry everything around. And I didn't at the time I was looking at this route I was taking, which ended up being a pretty long walk. So I was noticing that when I was doing steady shots, they weren't so steady. I think probably part of it was that I hadn't really eaten much that day, so the hands are a little more shaky than normal. And I'm still kind of like figuring out this camera, like what's the best way to get a steady shot. Like right now I can see it's got a little bit of shake to it. I apologize. I probably should put this thing on a tripod when I'm doing these. But I think it was my thinking at the time was, well, if I'm not gonna have a steady shot, I might as well get a little bit of motion in there. But it was unfortunate. It was like a little bit of too much motion. I think it was constant, like, hey, there's movement, and really there is no movement up there. There's nothing alive. There's a couple rabbits running around, but it's really it's burned to a crisp and it's dead. Any movement that would happen with the few trees that didn't burn, see the leaves moving. But I was kind of going crazy. The other thing I was noticing too is that with this camera, is I have a tendency of holding it at a little bit of an angle. I generally film with the screen out, even like right now. Like if you see me look off the side a little bit, it's because I'm checking the screen. Even when I'm filming normally, I'll hold this thing a little bit lower and I'll hold the screen out, kind of tilted up. I kind of like working that way. But I find I have a tendency of getting the horizon a little bit shifted. I think it's just based on the way it's sitting in my hand, the way I'm holding it. I need to kind of I need to get the muscle memory trained more, so I hold the damn thing flat instead of at an angle. Having the horizon line on there is really, really helpful. Like, if you guys ever used a GH5, it might be the same with GH4 before, I don't know, but like the GH5's got a green line that runs across the screen. That's your horizon when it's flat, and it goes yellow when it's tilted, so it's pretty nice to keep track of the horizon. But it's one of those habits, like I need to figure out a better way to get my body trained so I'm doing it flat, along with stop doing long ass pans. I think probably another thing is I'm trying to get tricky with things, like, oh, if I do a pan here and I do a focus rack, I'm like, well, the thing is I'm not good with focus racks. I know at this point, like, I think it'd be better if I was on a tripod, trying to do these things with this camera, holding it with a small lens. It has a really far throw. I'm not good at that yet. I probably need to keep practicing at it, which is what I'm doing, but maybe not include those in the videos, because I could probably spend hours outside on the same same thing, practicing focus pulls. Although I was doing pretty good yesterday doing working with the ND filter. A couple of those long shots when I was doing a really long pan where there's sun in there, or I was going to dark spot to light spot, I was actually, rather than racking through the aperture, I was actually to go from a dark scene to a bright scene. I was actually racking the ND filter I have. I have a variable ND filter I keep in my film lenses, and that worked pretty good. I was actually pretty happy looking at that. You couldn't really see really a massive change in exposure. It just seemed to be kind of flat, which is what I was trying to get. But once again, I'm just trying to tricky things here. I think with all this stuff, I need to figure out a good way to not do panning shots all the time. If you guys have any ideas on how you got rid of bad habits, I would love to hear them. I'm not necessarily concerned with like, I cut my sugar out of my diet, or whatever. Like, like things that are matters of willpower, just somewhere like just bad habits. Like if there's anything especially artistic habits. Because that's just something that I need to work on getting rid of in my work here and just getting better at. And I always appreciate tips and that stuff. But I guess that's to be it for now. I've been talking about for 7-8 minutes, just kind of rambling away, or 6 minutes, I don't know. I'll catch you guys in a little bit, and we'll see what the day has in store for us. All right, so we're back. First off, thank you for those who commented on yesterday's video. Got some nice messages on that on several platforms. I threw it up on Facebook as well and stuff. Definitely appreciate that. I felt pretty chaotic when I was making it, and so it's nice that some of you guys actually enjoyed it. At least some people did. Put a little more thought in this today, to kind of getting out of habits and stuff, which is really kind of my goal right now, is to sort of break out of my bad habits, trying to figure out ways to do that. So I spent a fair amount of day working with different ways of shooting. Put this thing on a tripod, did a bunch of rack focus shots, and learning how to use that aspect of the camera, which is really impressive. Actually, it works really, really well, and I love the idea. I still want to get a slider for this thing, just because slider shots are cool. But it was really a lot of fun and kind of cool to know that I can pull that stuff off and sort of add that to the bag of tricks. That being said, I'm not going to torture you guys with a bunch of slider shots other than the one you just saw, because it's about an hour of me going back and forth between two plants out on my front deck. So just basic camera experiments. Some days I'll include some of those, some days I won't. I think I've talked enough today where I don't need to include, a 15-minute montage of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That being said, the stuff looked really good. I'm really, really happy with the way it's turning out. And I'm getting pretty excited about shooting with this thing. I mean, I am excited about shooting with this thing. I need to keep remind myself that I do have other cameras and that I love shooting stills. I went through my sort of jumping around as a bit of chaos, as I often do, but I went through my iTunes library, or not iTunes, my Lightroom library a couple days ago looking for some shots, and realized since last November how few actual shoots I've done, how little stills I've done because I'm shooting so much video, that I need to keep remind myself to shoot more stills, because I'm a pretty good photographer. I'm a really crap mediocre videographer, but I'm pretty good with stills. So I need to keep doing that because it's my first love, and I have some really fantastic stills cameras between my Pentax and my Sony. All that being said, I'm having so much fun shooting video with this thing. I hope you guys are enjoying the little clips I've been putting up, and the random insights in my life and all that stuff, because there'll be more of that. Tomorrow I'm going to be back working on some leopard stuff. Have a few packages that should have shown up today that I had in the warehouse, get those busted out, and then finish doing some testing on one of the rigs. Next week I'm going to be there all week, every day. I've got a lot to finish up the little bits, nitpicky things, and doing some cosmetic stuff for the Mexico show. The kit itself is basically fine. You just got to wire a few things back in, and then just do a real quick input-output test. But I want to do some cosmetic stuff for the rig because I really haven't anything cosmetic on the B rig in quite a while. I'm pretty sure right now we still have the Asteria kick drum on there, which is the one that I did for the Vegas shows. It has like the glow in the dark thing. But aside from that, there's really nothing been interesting down that kit. So I want to do something that'll surprise Rick for those 3 shows. So, anyways, that's my my future stuff going on. I'll be working on that a little bit tomorrow, and then do some more filming stuff. I think I might want to head downtown LA on Sunday and do some street stuff. I've been thinking about this. I keep contemplating going down there. There's a really cool like overhead walkways downtown that would be kind of fun to film at. I really want to go film that underground street that has the shafts of light, but unfortunately, like everybody else in LA films down there, so I'm not going to. That'd be cool though. I have some awesome ideas for that for an eventual photo shoot down there. But I want to go down and do some just filming stuff and maybe like some street stuff. I may actually, if I'm really, 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 truly ambitious, and you guys know I'm only mildly ambitious, I might make it out of Venice, do some filming, because I think it'd be kind of cool to do some crowd stuff with this, because I've never really done any like crowd photography with this camera. But I'm really enjoying, doing the process. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend planned, lined up. Thank you very much for stopping by and comments. I do appreciate it. Whether it's here, Facebook, on Instagram. It's a pretty awesome thing that, I've got 70 some odd people interested. By the way, if you're watching these things and you want more, hit the subscribe button, because it'd be kind of cool to get over 100, at some point. Just because 100 subscribers, I think you actually have more ability to edit your page, or so I've been told. I don't know. I'm really crap about going after like viewers and stuff, but it's kind of nice to have them. But anyways, with that, I have round 3 of coffee today. So good, and I shall catch you all later tomorrow. See ya.